If you've ever wanted to learn the piano, you're in for a treat today. I'm testing out PianoVision, a mixed reality app that can help you learn to play the piano. It's available on Quest 3, Quest 2 and Quest Pro. It uses a virtual piano that you place in the real world, and you can use it with a real piano or even just on a flat surface or in empty space. I'm going to be walking you through all that this app has to offer. Overall, I've been really impressed with it. It's loads of fun to use and it really does help you to learn to play the piano. So let's get started with PianoVision, and I'm using it on Quest 3. When you first load up PianoVision, the first thing you need to do is set up your piano. This is a MIDI piano, so I can actually connect it to my headset. So all I do is I just get a MIDI cable connected to my piano, and then I connect it to the headset. The app will recognize it and will ask me for permission to use the USB function for MIDI. The next thing you do is you place your piano in the real world. Obviously, we want to place it over the keys accurately. Now this is actually lined up really nicely, but let's do it again to show you the process. So what you do is you first place your finger on the leftmost key and confirm the edge. Then you do the same with the rightmost key, and this is using hand and finger tracking, and we confirm that. And then we've actually got it pretty good there. Often the placement isn't absolutely perfect, so what you can do is you can use this control panel over here to adjust the keys. And then the next thing you can do is you can go in and you can browse the songs that you want to play. The songs are arranged in order of skill level from 0 to 12. There are over 1,000 songs in this app, which is amazing. So the first thing you do is you select the song that you want to play. If we just go for something easy here, and the next thing that happens is the notes start coming towards you. And then what you do is you put your hands on the keys and then you start to play. And as you can see, it even tells you what finger to use. It does this for a lot of the easier tunes, and it tells you what note you're going to be playing. So even if you're a complete beginner, you can give this a whirl just with note recognition. Kind of in the same way as any other like music rhythm game in a way. So you can just give this a wee whirl. Okay, so once you've played through, it'll give you a score. It'll tell you what you've done well and what you've done badly. And that's really nice. You can even go in to see more detail, and it'll break it down section by section to tell you how well or how badly you've done and what you need to work at. If you go into something a lot more difficult, now I'm not a good piano player at all. I'm a beginner. I started playing about 2 years ago when my daughter started playing the piano. That's why we got this piano in the first place. She's currently doing her grade 2 piano, and I can't keep up with her. I'm a total beginner. I'm not very good at piano. I do really enjoy it, but I haven't practiced enough to be any good at it. So clearly this is way beyond my capabilities. So we'll see what happens then when you're playing a song that you're struggling with. So first thing is the notes wait for you until you get them right. You can take as long as you want to play each note. And it's great because it allows you to play through a song even if you're totally rubbish at it and you don't really know what you're doing. You can get an idea of how to play the song. Let's move on to looking at some of the other features. Say you're learning a challenging piece and you need a little bit of help. There are quite a few features that you can use in this app to really help you to learn the pieces. So first of all, you don't need to use both hands at once. You've got this lower panel with quite a few options on it. you can adjust whether you use your right hand, your left hand, or both hands. If I select just the right hand to play this song, you go in and the app will play the left hand part, and I just need to concentrate on the right hand part. Sometimes in PianoVision, it can feel like you're just responding to the colored blocks and playing it almost like a rhythm game, and you're not actually learning the piece or learning much about playing the piano. And there are a few features to improve this and to make sure that you do actually learn the pieces. So you can get the sheet music up for any song, and I really appreciate this feature. So I can actually look at the sheet music and just concentrate on reading the music and trying to improve my skill in that regard. Another feature of PianoVision that's really good is this panel over to the right hand side, and this gives you some data about how well you're performing each individual section of the piece. It breaks it down into little chunks of the piece and tells you where you're struggling and where you're doing quite well. It also has these two features at the bottom, the memory engine and the learning engine. If you go into the learning engine, what it'll do, it'll pick out the parts of the song that you're struggling with, and it'll just let you practice them, and it will dynamically change the part of the piece that you're practicing depending on what's your weakest. The other option is this memory engine. So what it tries to do is wean you off your reliance on the colored blocks. So the first playthrough, you've got the colored blocks there. Then after one or two goes, they will fade and you have to remember the notes. And then after that, you've got nothing. So you just have to remember the notes. And then it'll go on to a longer loop. And you can see the notes. I think this is one of the best features of PianoVision because there's so many of these piano learning apps, and I've tried quite a few for my phone and for my tablet, where you get really good at following the visual cues, but your brain doesn't actually learn the pieces. I think one of the wonderful things about PianoVision is that it keeps it interesting and enjoyable right the way through the process. It feels just like playing a game, and it's just fun to sit down and watch the blocks coming towards you and try to get better with each playthrough. It's a much more engaging visual experience than just sitting down with sheet music. Now, PianoVision does a lot of things right, but there are quite a few drawbacks. Number one, as you've already seen, is the hand tracking. The hand tracking is fairly ropey, to be fair, and if you don't have a MIDI piano, if you don't have an electric keyboard or an electric piano with a MIDI cable that you can connect to your headset, it's not really worth getting this app. It's not good enough. The other way that you can use PianoVision is just to place a virtual piano anywhere in the real world. This can be in midair, or you can use a flat surface. Now, the downside of this is that you don't get any tactile feedback whenever your hands press the keys, and you're completely reliant on the hand tracking to detect when you've pressed the correct key. As a result, this is very inconsistent and not much more than a novelty. It's not much fun. It's mainly frustrating. So if you don't have a piano at home and you're thinking about getting this app, I would encourage you, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not that much fun for that use. The other drawback is the accuracy of the virtual piano overlay on your real piano. This does tend to drift around a little bit, and it is very important to get the keys perfectly lined up. I find that every time I come back to the app, I need to reset the keyboard. I need to align it carefully. I usually need to adjust the width and adjust the position to get it just right again. And this adds another minute or two onto the process and increases the friction of using PianoVision as a tool to learn the piano. Whenever I sit down and I want to play a few tunes on the piano, I just want to sit down and start playing. So can PianoVision help you to learn to play the piano? Well, I think the resounding answer is yes, absolutely. I think it's one of the best tools that I've ever tried to help me learn to play the piano. It's certainly one of the best mixed reality apps that I've used for Quest 3. Overall, PianoVision is an absolute blast to play as long as you've got a MIDI piano and can connect it to your VR headset. It's available for the Meta Quest 3, Quest 2 and Quest Pro. It's a fantastic example of how mixed reality apps can be both lots of fun, but also help us to do things that we couldn't do without mixed reality. I highly recommend you give it a whirl if you have a piano available to you. Thanks very much for watching this video. It's been a pleasure and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like.